Located in California's Central Valley, just 45 minutes south of the state's capital city, Sacramento, San Joaquin County is nestled between the Sierra foothills and San Francisco's Bay Area. Agriculture is the leading industry in San Joaquin County. San Joaquin County is home to 3,430 farms, which produce an abundance of diverse, delicious, and nutritious food and fiber. So just what makes up San Joaquin County's diverse agriculture industry? Well, I encourage you to sit back, relax, and enjoy our tour of San Joaquin County agriculture. We'll start our tour in Stockton at the Robert J. Cabral Agriculture Center, which is home to San Joaquin County's Agricultural Commissioner's Office. The Agricultural Commissioner enforces the provisions of the California Food and Agricultural Code for the protection of the public's health, safety, and welfare, and promotes and protects the agriculture industry in our county. As we leave the Ag Center and head southwest, we'll find ourselves in Tracy.
I'm Katie Veenstra. I'm here with Glory Ann Farms. We're in South Tracy in the south part of the county, and the specialty crop that we're going to be highlighting today is sweet corn. So the way that Glory Ann works is we actually have growers and we purchase corn from them all year long. So when we get it from the grower, it looks like this. Which is typically what you would see in the grocery store, especially locally around summertime. So this is the product that we might pack and sell to a grocery store about mid-June through mid-October. Our contract growers are located right here in San Joaquin County and the surrounding areas. During that time, we probably use over 3,500 acres worth of sweet corn. A little factoid that some people don't know. When sweet corn is developing, well, any corn for that matter, one of these ears of silk is actually attached to every single kernel on this ear of corn. And so the pollen, when it falls off the tassel at the top of the stalk, will fall down and it will attach itself onto each one of these individual pieces of silk, and that's what will pollinate each of these kernels and essentially allow it to grow. Well, thanks for stopping by, kids. I appreciate you guys coming in to learn a little bit about sweet corn and just the value of agriculture in our county and how important our farmers and ranchers are.
Continuing east, we're going to hug the county's southern border and head to Ripon.
Hello, my name is Mark Ziesel, and I am from Dutch Roots Farm. We are a flower farm in Ripon, California, and we grow cut flowers. I am a first-generation flower farmer. We are on 1 acre of flowers, and we started with 1/4 of an acre. And we've been growing for 4 seasons now. So we have some outside fields, and there's some that just can't take heat from inside the hoop houses, and then the hoop houses also give us a jump start on the early season crops. Our season is typically from Valentine's Day through first frost, so mid-November, and we start seeds now in October, and then they don't produce flowers until February, and then they grow until the first frost there. Fun fact about flowers is 85% of all flowers in the U.S. is imported from overseas. So it's good to support your local flower farmers. Thanks for dropping in.
So we're at Travail and Fippen right now. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about a specialty crop in California, California almonds. Almonds are grown in other places in the world. They require a Mediterranean type climate. And it just so happens that the Great Central Valley of California is the greatest exposure and the greatest quantity of that type climate. So guess what? About 80% of the world's supply of almonds now come from California. So that kind of gives you an idea of the enormity of the California almond market. Basically, my mom and dad, when they retired from the business, was about 120 acres. And today we've been able to expand that acreage somewhere short of 2,000 acres. And we decided we would grow almonds, but we'd also vertically integrate the operation and process and hull as well. So we developed what you see here, which is almond hulling and shelling, and also almond processing and marketing. Along the way, one part of the business helped the other part of the business. And you never know which one is going to be the winner. So we're just really happy to be versatile and have both sides of the equation.
Hi, my name is Matt Coltrera. I'm owner of Mako Farms Incorporated out of Ripon, California. And right now we're in one of my vegetable fields. We're standing in turnip greens. We grow 22 different vegetables. Everything that we grow here at Mako Farms, as far as leafy green and specialty crops, is grown for Ratto Brothers out of Modesto, California. We include 4 different kinds of lettuce, 4 different kinds of Swiss chard, bok choy, baby bok choy, collard greens, some of our larger scale commodity crops that we grow, carrots, onions, and garlic. So as you see, the machine has these big spades in the front of it that go under each row of the carrots, and has these belts that grab the tops. And these belts pull the carrots up to the top, cuts the top off and into these trailers. They will sit overnight in these trailers with ice cold water showering on them until they're packed the next day. Yeah, so a lot of our carrots, people don't know, carrots are used a lot. Carrot flour is used in makeup and hair dyes, and a lot of carrot concentrate, which is super condensed, this thick carrot paste. A fun fact, some of the commodities that I grow, I've never even heard of until we plant them, or know what they look like until they're out of the ground. I'm Matt Coltrera with Mako Farms, and thanks for stopping by.
Now off to the south central part of the county to Manteca.
My name is Brian Van Groningen. I'm the VP of Crops and Soils at Van Groningen & Sons. We grow watermelons as one of our main commodities underneath the label Yosemite Fresh. My main responsibility is to plant and grow all of the crops. We grow watermelons all by transplant. A transplant comes from the nursery. We send a seed to the nursery. They grow us a little plant. We take that plant, we put it in the soil, and from that point we give it water, nutrients, it gets sunlight, and it grows into a mature plant that produces watermelons. We grow about 1,100 acres of watermelons. 900 of those are your conventional, normal-sized watermelons. About 200 of those are the small, mini-size, personal watermelons. More or less getting ready for Halloween right now. We're packing our pie pumpkins. These pumpkins will be sent out all across California, throughout the West Coast, even into Nevada and Utah and Oregon. So we've got pie pumpkins here. These are getting ready to be processed. These just came out of the field. They're getting a little bit of a water wax solution sprayed on them. The brushes will knock any dirt off them, and they'll end up being nice and shiny. Used for either pumpkin pie, or they can be used just as decoration to put on your home kitchen table. And San Joaquin County produces about 80% of all pumpkins that are grown in California. So there's a very good chance if you were to buy a pumpkin anywhere in the state, it came from this county. So these are our big prize winner pumpkins. These range from anywhere from 100 to 200 pounds. So now you've seen kind of the range of sizes that we produce here at Pampered Farms. Thanks for dropping in.
Now we're headed east on Highway 120 to the little town of Escalon.
Hi, I'm Rich Osmenkowski, and I've been a tomato breeder for Heinz for 28 years. A tomato breeder's job is to come up with new varieties of tomatoes. There's over 200 varieties of tomatoes grown for processing worldwide. We're creating varieties that will make better ketchup, thicker ketchup, redder sauces, ones that will produce more tomatoes per acre, that will also have more resistance to fight off diseases and insects. Just within San Joaquin County, it takes about 150 million tomato seeds that grow into the little plants to plant those 720,000 acres of tomatoes. By March, April, and May, those small little tomato plants are put out into a field like this, where we grow them for about 3 months, and then they're harvested by machine. The machine will come through and run along these beds, and it will cut the bottom of the tomato plant. The tomatoes go up into the harvester with the plant and everything. The plant is shaken, so the tomatoes fall off and get put into the tomato bins. Those are then taken to the factories, and they are cooked within just a few hours of being harvested. That keeps them fresh. Each of those loads of tomatoes is about 25 tons of tomatoes. So next time you have a slice of pizza, make sure you think about where it came from and thank a tomato grower for that.
My name is Patty Faria, and this is Faria Dairy. My husband and I are the owners of Faria Dairy. We milk about 900 cows on this facility. I started in the dairy industry in the late 70s. When you have livestock, you have to be a lot more dedicated. Just having cows, especially milk cows that have to be milked twice a day, it's a lot of hard work. It's all year, 365, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. You never know when you're gonna be called upon hosing down the corrals or finishing up the milking. I meet with the vets outside and with checking cows or checking calves, vaccinating. Then not only do you have the cows, you have all your young stock and, you know, newborn babies that you have to keep alive, and, you know, making sure the milkers are doing their jobs as far as cleanliness. Even though it's pasteurized and homogenized, it still has to be in good condition in a raw form. Our milk is tested every single time it's picked up. It's close to 100 shippers, I think, that go to our plant. Even though it goes to a creamery or, in our case, to a cheese plant, we're constantly monitoring that to make sure that the quality is there. There's just, I think, a lot more that goes into the dairy business than the person buying that gallon of milk thinks. But it's still the #1 ag commodity, and we're proud of it. We're proud to be dairymen.
Hi, San Joaquin County. My name is Matthew Terra. I work with Eckert Cold Storage. We do processing bell peppers. Fruit that we have, high in vitamin C, comes in great colors. We have yellow, we've got green, and of course, a lot of red. We are here in San Joaquin County as well as throughout the state. A lot of these will go in 2 places, either the grocery store where you see it, where you can pick it up and hold it, or it might get processed and go to something like pizza. Here in San Joaquin County, we grow a lot of green bell peppers. So you'll see green bell peppers that are locally grown here. These are coming from all around the state, but we have 1 plant in Escalon, 1 plant in Manteca. So when you're eating a frozen pizza or a pizza that you put in the microwave, look at the peppers on there. Those are coming right here from San Joaquin County.
Hi there, I'm Anastasia Stite.
And I'm Michelle Stite, and we are at Stite Dairy and Stite Dairy Farmstead Cheese.
We are located in Escalon, California, in the middle of San Joaquin County.
And we make a raw milk Gouda-style cheese with the milk produced from our family-owned cows.
This is our processing room where we make our raw milk Gouda-style cheese. The milk flows into here when I begin processing. In this small vat, we make cheese curds. Those are fresh cheese, commonly known as squeakers. That vat pasteurizes so we can sell them fresh the same day. After that, we cut the curds. They'll go underneath our press and get pressed where the curds grow together and form your wheel of cheese. After that, they move to the next room where they stay in there for a couple of days, and then they move on to the aging room where they age for their 60-day mandatory aging period.
Thanks so much for joining us on our tour of Stite Dairy Cheese.
Please come visit us.
My name is Melissa Marks, and I work for Pleasant Valley Farms. And we actually raise birds for eggs, and we sell the eggs to various grocery stores. And so we are located in the Central Valley, and we actually have been in business since 1960, and I am a 3rd-generation farmer. We are 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. This lifestyle is our life. So we actually, on this facility, have around 700,000 birds at a time, and they will lay basically an egg a day is what we always try to get out of each bird. So what you're looking at is the inside of a cage-free facility. The birds are able to roam free wherever they want. They have food and water and are available to jump around. So what you're seeing right now is the eggs being brought over from each house. This is the inside of the incoming cooler where the eggs are stored prior to being processed. So the eggs that are put into a packer, that the packers are dropped the eggs onto a flat, and the flats are palletized to be stored so that they can be processed. The eggs finish being processed and put into the carton.
Prior to this, the eggs were going through 2 egg washers to clean the eggs. Then they're sized and sent down the conveyor onto what lane that they need to go into for a size, whether it's mediums, large, or extra large. The finished product that will be going out to the grocery stores. These can be shipped as close to just 10 minutes away or as far as 3 hours away. Thanks for stopping by and have an excellent day.
Up next is some more beautiful countryside as we head north in our county up to Linden and then Clements.
We grow many different varieties of yellow onions. Yellow onions are the most popular onions in the state. We also grow some white onions and some red onions. Here in Northern California, outside of Stockton, we grow 300 plus acres of onions. It's a very important specialty crop for the state. We harvest between June and September, and we grow a very high quality of onion with the warm weather we get during that time of year. We plant the onions between Thanksgiving and New Year's every year. We put them in beds in rows in fields, and then they'll mature over the winter time into the spring, and then as summer rolls around, they're ready for harvest. So the vegetative material is knocked down. We lift the onions up out of the soil because they grow underground, and then they're ready to be graded and packed here at the facility. And then we put it into mesh bags like these. We pack 10 and 25 and 50-pound sacks. And I'm standing in front of the machines that stack these sacks onto pallets so they're ready to ship to the stores. We love onion season around here. We get very excited for it. It means it's barbecue season. It means it's summer vegetable season. We really just want to increase people's awareness that we grow a lot of onions here in California. Around here, all of our favorite foods contain onions. You find onions in a lot of Mexican foods. You find onions in a lot of Italian foods. We like putting onions directly on the barbecue. There's really just a ton of uses for onions, be it in the kitchen or in the backyard. It's really healthy and nutritious, and we encourage everybody to eat more of them.
Welcome to our cherry orchard. My name is Richard Rodriguez. We're east of Stockton. Today we're talking about cherries, which is a specialty crop. The thing about cherries, they're very labor intensive because they're all picked by hand. They're pruned by hand. The packing part of it is a lot of labor. They're real short season. Basically they'll bloom in the end of February or March, and they're picking by the end of April. There's different varieties that come in at different times. Well, we have the red cherries, and then we have the Rainiers, which is like a white cherry. Yes, the cherries in the last few years have gone to using the cameras to do the imaging for the sorting because it's getting so hard to find enough labor to be able to sort these cherries. Maraschino cherry, you see those year round because they're canned, and you see them on your like ice cream sundae. Thank you for stopping by and have a cherry day.
My name is Jake Samuel. I'm with Samuel Farms Inc. and we're talking about walnuts today. We're located in Linden, California in San Joaquin County. I'm a 4th generation farmer. My family and I have been farming for the last, 70 years or so now, I guess. The math keeps changing. We farm about plus or minus 200 acres. Walnuts generally begin blooming. It's kind of an odd looking bloom. Towards the end of March, as the leaves start to come out more, the walnuts start to develop further on. So at first, the green hull is around the outside and it's continuing to grow, and the shell begins to form, and the meat inside the shell begins to form. And then harvest begins about middle to beginning September and goes to about now end of October, beginning of November. And as we shake it, they fall into the ground to where a sweeper comes in and sweeps them in a windrow, and the harvester picks them up and sends it to the huller and dryer. The huller removes all the green hull and husk from the shell and then dries that down to a manageable moisture content. So it's thought that the walnut looks like a brain, and it's meant to be brain food. So a lot of people consume walnuts as healthy foods, and a lot of people eat them just as a handful, and a handful a day keeps the doctor away.
I'm Rita McPhee. My family is McPhee Red Angus, and we raise Red Angus cattle. And we've been raising Red Angus cattle since 1971. Currently, we run about 250 mother cows. About 85% of those are fall calving cows, which calve normally July, August, September, and then the other 15% or so calve January, February, March. Our market is our bulls. So our bulls are sold to customers who go and use them for breeding their cows, commercial herds. So we have a sale here, an annual bull sale here every September, fourth Saturday in September. We market probably somewhere around 125. My son and daughter both work on the ranch daily. My sister and my mom still work on the ranch. Mom's out there. So I think that's pretty exciting. I love watching the calves being born. And you don't have to be born and raised in a cattle ranch to own cattle. You just have to have a will and a drive to do it. There's lots of people that'll help. Anybody that's interested, give me a call. I'd love to show you the ranch.
We've now made a big U in our county and we're at the tippy top in Lodi.
My name's Jeff Colombini. I'm a farmer, and the name of my farming operation is Lodi Farming. And one of the crops that I grow is apples. And today, this variety happens to be Pink Lady. We grow other varieties like Gala, Fuji, Granny Smith, and Honeycrisp. In the fall, the apple trees lose their leaves. And then in the springtime, the apple trees make flowers. This apple here that I have in my hand was a flower 6 months ago. So apples are considered a specialty crop, and apples are very good for you. My favorite way of eating apples is just fresh, just bite right into the apple. But they also make applesauce, apple juice, dried apples, apple pie. So here's a fun fact. If you cut open an apple in the middle, and you open up an apple and you get a star. Also, don't forget, an apple a day keeps the doctor away.
Hi guys, Paul Buslaki here. We're here in Lodi, California, and we're here to talk about olives for olive oil. So Cordo Olive is owned by a gentleman by the name of Dino Cortopassi. And Dino is a lifelong farmer here in the valley. And so about 18 years ago, we started growing olives on a trellis system, just like you can see here. And what that allows us to do is harvest the olives with an olive harvester. It goes over the rows, and what it does is it has big fingers inside. And what they're doing is they're knocking the olives off the tree. And what that allows the olives to do is fall into the belly of the machine and then out into the gondola and off to the truck where they're shipped off to the mill. What we do is we bring them to the mill, and think about the olives going into a big blender. What we do is we spin them really fast. And basically all we're doing is separating the solids or the olive from the oil. We put it in a couple different packages. First, there's always the bottle. And then we also put it in what we called a flavor lock box. With olive oil, you can do a lot of different things with cooking, but one of the fun things that you guys might like to try at home is get a big bowl of vanilla ice cream, pour your olive oil right over the top with a little bit of salt, and try it and give mom and dad a treat. Glad you guys were able to join us out here in the olive grove.
My name is Joe Valenti. I work for John Couch Farms. Been working for him for 40 years as a vineyard manager. Today we're going to talk about a specialty crop, and it's actually grapes. A growing season for grapes is actually go through the dormancy in the wintertime. That's when we prune. And then in the springtime around March, they start to bud break. That's when the new green growth is growing. And then around May, people don't realize, but actually grapes do bloom like any other crop. And then come around July, it's a process called veraison. And it's actually like it's when the sugar content is going up and the acid's going down. And typically our harvest is during August, September, and October. There are some of the older vineyards in Lodi, such as the old vine Zinfandel, are maybe 100 years old. But today, mostly all grapes in our area, the Lodi area, are machine harvested. And they're typically done at nighttime. It's just cooler. Grapes have a lot of sugar content in them. Well, as far as different uses for grapes, actually some of the main products is grape juice. But they also, you have, peanut butter and jam sandwich. You could go to the grocery store and buy grapes with seeds. You could buy grapes without seeds. Thanks, kids. It's been great.
Now we're headed south, off to Stockton.
My name is John Ferreira. I'm with Cotta and Ferreira Custom Farming. The topic that we're going to talk about is pomegranates. It's a family operation, and we're in Stockton, California. So we have 30 acres of pomegranates, and they were planted back in 2008. You could grow them from a seed. There's, I believe, 32 different varieties of pomegranates. These happen to be just regular Wonderfuls, and that's the most common and most sought after ones because they're the ones that get the biggest and they're the sweetest. They bloom about 4 times during the course of the year. So they'll bloom from May all the way into August. The other ones that are smaller sized, we will pick them right around end of October into middle of November, depending upon when the sugar, gets the sugar up high enough to make juice. And then we'll put this fruit through a machine that cuts it, knocks the arils out, which the arils are the little berries inside, as you can see here on the picture. It knocks them out, kicks out the skin, which is the outer skin, and then it gets put into a screw press that presses them, and then it juices them. The juice goes everywhere, and you got juice, now you got a little seed inside. And then we get juice out of the pomegranate. And typically on an annual basis, we do about 50 to 60,000 gallons of pomegranate juice. And then you make pomegranate seed oil from the seed. What's left over from the seed then is basically almost like a raisin, like a bran. The other byproduct is from the skin, but they go to a dairy and they feed it to the cows. So I wanted to thank you for coming by and dropping in, and hope you guys enjoyed the video.
My name is Fabian Ferreira. I'm with Cotta and Ferreira Custom Farming. We farm alfalfa, oats, corn, tomatoes. Hay is our biggest one. We're located here in Stockton, California. We farm roughly 750 acres of alfalfa and forage. And the harvest, it'll either go to dairies for silage for cows, or they'll go the other way and go with hay. Like, we do a lot of our hay for retail, which goes to feed stores, people with racing horses. So alfalfa is typically planted in the fall. The hay season will start between the last week of March, first 2 weeks of April, depending on the weather. Come through, cut it, and the machine leaves it in a row. So you rake 2 into 1, you come through. You want it to dry down because, one, if you put it in the bale wet, it'll be a disaster. But for horses, it's not good, and it can even catch fire. It can spontaneously combust, and they've had haystacks, they look like they explode. So alfalfa, another use besides putting it into a bale, they can green chop it and let it ferment and turn it into silage. They can put it in alfalfa cubes, and they also make pellets, which is just another different style. Alfalfa, you can get 6 on average, and if you're lucky, you'll get 7 per field, 7 cuttings. Hey, thanks for stopping by.
Now it's time to take our tour full circle and head over to Holt in San Joaquin County's Delta.
Jack Zeck, I'm a 4th generation farmer at Victoria Island Farms, where we grow blueberries. Located about 12 miles west of Stockton on Highway 4. We farm 212 acres of blueberries. Blueberries are a specialty crop. So these are about 15 years old right here. Early spring, we start having our bloom. And then after we bring in bees to pollinate them, they'll start turning into berries, which ripen in mid-May. Blueberries are harvested between mid-May and mid-July every year. We harvest blueberries by hand and with machines. So we sell blueberries to places like Costco, and we only give them our highest quality berries picked by hand and packed by hand. Blueberries are used as an ingredient in a lot of things. People use dried blueberries to bake. It's also, dried blueberries as a snack is gaining in popularity due to the health benefits. We also use blueberries in syrups. It's used as a flavor for drinks. It's used in a lot of different ways.
I hope that you enjoyed your tour of San Joaquin County agriculture and that you learned a little bit about the diversity and abundance of agriculture in the community.